What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Jonathan. Oh, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means? It's time for a one-off. I'm filming this pretty late, so I'm trying to be pretty quiet. Like, I know our neighbors have babies. I hear it crying like every night. Poor kid. It's funny. Sorry, my computer screen had a meme pulled up for some reason, and I was just anyway. So yeah, this week's one-off is something I thought of a while ago, and then as long story short, today I slept a lot, and so I was trying to get ideas for what I wanted to write, and nothing was coming to mind. And then I saw like the beginning of this that I started a while ago, and I really liked it because this idea was really fun, and so I got to take it, and I'm pretty satisfied with this one. Like, it might not be perfect. You might not be like, oh, this was his best, but this was enjoyable. So little fun game. Try to figure out what the trick is, what the magic is, and then I'll explain it after. But enjoy the one-off.
Posset Esse by Jonathan Howe. Read for you by Jonathan Howe. Grandpa, what is this? Tanner remembered asking as he first held the beaten-up pocket watch. It was a solid metal piece and fairly old from the looks of it. Ah, his grandfather sighed, leaning over Tanner's shoulder to get a better look. That's Posset Esse, the pointless magical watch. The old man smiled wistfully. You may keep it, but I will not tell you how to operate it. That secret belongs to Posset Esse. Tanner shook himself out of memories and back into the moment. He sat on the bus as it crawled to his stop. He stepped onto the empty street and looked around warily. Tanner hunched his shoulders and strode off, trying to look unapproachable. Few people he saw walked in a similar manner, keeping their distance. In his coat pocket, he clutched Posset Esse. The watch would be his lifeline tonight. It could also be the final bullet that kills me, Tanner thought. Using the watch was always a gamble, but tonight a gamble was his only option. 10 minutes of walking later, Tanner arrived at his destination. He stood at the mouth of a dark alley, focused on the ominous neon sign halfway down. It read, The Loose Screw. Tanner's fingers urged to press the button on Posset Esse, but he refrained. Now would be a waste of 10 seconds. He walked quickly to the door, raising a hand to knock. Before touching the door, a hatch slid open. The bouncer looked him up and down. I'm here to see Din, Tanner said, voice shaky. The slot closed and the door opened a moment later. Tanner was led through the club. It was not a favorable location in his mind. Along one wall was the bar with a few patrons. In the corner was a live group playing soft jazz. In another corner were some entertainment dancers, for lack of a better term. All the patrons turned to look at him. None seemed to like his chances. He swallowed, a hard lump in his throat. The bouncer opened a door into a smoke-filled back room. Unlike the rest of the bar, it was well lit. Inside, behind an ornate desk, sat a well-dressed man. He had pale white skin, light hair, and pink eyes. I'm glad to see you could make it, Din said, standing and putting out his cigarette. Welcome to my establishment. Thanks, Tanner said. He didn't know how to follow up, so he held out a hand. Din looked at the gesture in disgust. Sorry, Tanner said, putting the hand back. Din gestured to an empty, open chair on Tanner's side of the desk. He scanned it up and down, checking for traps as he moved close. No foul play, Din told him. Tanner looked up into Din's eyes. Either he was a really good liar, or he was telling the truth. Tanner sat down in the chair. Do you know why I asked for you? Din said. I'm unaware, Tanner lied. He had a good idea, but it was in his best interest to play dumb. Din sighed. Tanner, I'll be straight with you. I like to make money. I've gotten pretty good at it. That's why I own a casino. Din flicked his fingers towards the sign for the Rolling Foothills Casino and Resort. Did you think I wouldn't notice when one man came into my casino and won too often? When he comes in and takes too much of my money? Tanner pressed the button on Posset Esse. I'd say that's part of a gamble in owning a casino, Tanner saw himself respond. Din chuckled for a moment. You're a funny guy, he said. Din stood up quickly, a gun in his hand. Tanner went back to the moment after pressing the button. I'd say that's part of the gamble in owning a casino, Tanner said to Din. The man smiled. You think you're cute, Din replied. He stayed in his chair. Tanner breathed a silent sigh of relief. You used it just now, didn't you? Din asked. The thing that changes your luck. Tanner's face went white. I really don't know what you're talking about, he said quickly. Din smiled again. You see, I was thinking about killing you just now, but some feeling came over me, he explained. I have more evidence if you'd like. Tanner shook his head, standing out of the chair. I think I should. Din pulled out the gun. Sit down. Tanner did as asked. See, as a betting man, I'm really good at math, Din started to say. I know the odds on how often people should win or lose. I play those odds to make sure that no matter what, I make money. Then you show up, hand in your pocket doing something, and all of a sudden, you start winning everything. You're right, Tanner said. I was cheating. I'll give you all the money back. At this point, fake confessing and giving back all the money was worth surviving. Din locked eye contact for a long moment. At the end of the stare, Tanner's courage failed. He pressed the button on Posset Esse. I'd be willing to take that deal. Add it on that you never step foot in one of my establishments again, Din said. Tanner immediately pulled out his phone and started the process of transferring money back to Din. Back to the moment after, Tanner had a sense of panic. Please be similar, he thought to the universe. Din sneered. You know, I'd have been willing to take that deal, he said, except I've done my research. Tanner tensed. You see, I had your history dug up, Tanner. I've learned that good luck follows you in too many scenarios. That's not true, Tanner said, trying to be sincere. If it was, you wouldn't have caught me. A fair point, Din said. Still, I don't attribute that to your luck, but rather your overconfidence. He leveled the gun at Tanner. I'll give you one more chance to explain. Tanner pressed the button on Posset Esse. You've got me, he started to say before a shot rang out and a bullet went through Tanner's head. Back to the moment after the button press. Tanner dove to the side. Din, shocked at the turn of events, didn't aim properly and his shot went wild. Tanner crawled up and then ran to the door. He pushed out. Shots whizzed by, but he wasn't hit. People out in the bar looked startled, some hunching down in their chairs as if to avoid bullets. Tanner pulled his hand, still clutching Posset Esse out of his pocket, and began to run. He pumped his arms wildly, trying to gain speed as he charged at the bouncer. In his haste, Tanner hit the button. He ran directly into the guard's stomach with his shoulder. The man doubled over, and Tanner was able to extricate himself before slipping out of the bar into the cold night. Back to the moment in which Tanner was running. Shit, he thought, knowing the same scenario could never happen again. Still, he lowered his shoulder and charged into the man. Surprisingly, the man crumpled. Tanner extricated himself and reached for the door. He swung it open and took a step into the cool night air. Maybe the guard died last time, Tanner thought. A sharp pain took him in the back of the neck. Tanner dropped to the ground, unable to feel anything from the neck down. Was that blood in his throat? He tried to squeeze on the watch, as if the device could help him. Lying on the ground, coughing up blood, Tanner watched Din walk up to him, a smug grin on his face. Din stooped and picked up something. Posset Esse, Din read off the back of the pocket watch. He pressed the button on top. Tanner didn't see the seconds, but he knew Din was experiencing time before the rest of them. An apt name, Din said, leveling the gun at Tanner. What could have been? One final shot rang out.
And we're back. I don't know what I just did there. I didn't. Anyway, yeah. So I once had someone ask me, like, what would be a really pointless superpower to have? And I thought to myself, what if you could see like 10 seconds into the future, but then whatever you saw would not happen. And like, not like the rules of you would see the most likely future and then whatever you saw wouldn't happen, but like just whatever you saw was basically now fated to never happen because you saw it, because it had been perceived it could no longer actually exist. And it's just this, it's such a, you, who would use that superpower? And like, yeah, there'd be ways to use it. You could go to a casino, and if you see in 10 seconds on every slot, you can keep doing that over and over again, and you're more likely to win than you are to lose, because if you know, keep seeing into the future that you lose, so that's pretty likely eventually some of them that are going to happen are going to be you winning. It's like it's the door thing of like, if you open the door, the three doors in like a game show. Anyway, all that goes to say, I then thought of like, what if it was a watch specifically enacted, and just kind of this scenario where someone took it too far, and that became this short story. So the moral of the story is, when a shady like gangster guy who owns a casino asks you to come to his dive bar, even if you feel like there's no other option, like, I don't know, bring the police. Like, I know technically Tanner cheated, but like, he didn't really. I mean, I don't know. The ethics are questionable. Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I will see you guys next week. Neat. Okay, bye. Also, like and subscribe.